Hello everybody and welcome back to Transport Fever. You're watching Off the Rails. I'm going to get into a big speed build today. We're going to do something nice and big. Before we do that, I've got a couple of things I want to show you, and I want to talk about a few of the mods as well. I've ran forward about 2 and a bit years, trying not to do that off the camera. But I've just been spacing some of the trains out. I've added another 10 trains to the main line, so we've now got 20 on there. We have actually got 24 stops, so we do need them. As the trains get a bit faster and that, we might take a few out. We'll get bigger carriages on and things, because we're just rinsing the passengers. How many have we actually got on there at the moment? Well, we've got 75 on. That's it's ticking up nicely. We only had 50 on the last time I looked at that, so it's steadily growing. It should eventually start filling out. Now, some of the mods, I've added some more mods in. I'll talk about these areas in a minute. I want to stick a church over here, so I've made some reservation areas. I've got an idea for this, but that's not going to come not for about another 20 years or so yet. Like I said, I want to try and keep things in a relatively realistic time frame. Okay, the mods. I've got the Sparkies Road mod. I usually have this on. I took it out because I thought it was conflicting with something else, and it wasn't. I've been testing out switching on and turning off various mods on it. I've got the test save game. I tried some things. The answer to the question about the new industries, whether or not we're going to use it, is a no, because it just crashes the game when I've tried it. So that's out of the question. So we'll just stick with the ones that we normally have with the game. But that's fine. It's not a major problem anyway. Yeah, this road mod. There's a few mods from this Sparkies collection. This one changes the little streets up to like a brick texture, and the large streets it gives you this nice. Oh, we're a bit loud. Let me just turn that down a little bit. Well, nice sort of paved slabs here. I've also got rid of the stagecoaches and added these little buggies. I like these. That's another mod. And the industrial trucks, if we can go and find one, are now open trucks instead of being covered wagons. Sorry about the freezing. I've just loaded the game up. I should have had it run around and let it play through for a few minutes first. Yeah, so anyway, what I like about this more than anything, it's just a quick, easy visual. Shows you the different routes. I mean, it's fairly obvious which are your large streets and medium ones, but when you zoomed out, if you're doing lines, bus routes and things, it just makes it nice and easy to see. And I like the variety. Another mod that belongs to his is the one to stop the houses and the traffic from upgrading. It doesn't stop them upgrading. What it does, it expands the time frame in which they upgrade, and it allows some to upgrade earlier. So you tend, in your busier areas, you get the newer buildings quicker, and then in the quieter areas, you tend to have the older buildings. So it gives you a lot more variety in the buildings rather than everything upgrading at the same time. And it does the same with the cars on the road. So you get a lot more varieties in the cars rather than them all looking the same. Okay, so over here. We've done a bit of work on this little depot. I've added some sidings in and some cranes. I've added some non-running trains here. I haven't got the GWRs as assets, unfortunately, but there's a little shunting train a bit later on that looks better than these, which I'll swap these up for. I've got the mod that gives me all the assets in the game. Everything that the buildings have, I now have as assets, including them wheelbarrows, which I can't find again for some reason. They're in there somewhere. So I've stuck a load of buildings. There's a couple of active buildings in here, a couple of industrial buildings, just so I can get some people coming in. They can walk around here and they can drive up to this bit, but they can't get any further. Yeah, we got barriers closed on the gates as you go in. I had to move the gates out a little bit. I did have them lined up with these walls, but I'm going to put a bit of brickwork in here later on. But that stops the traffic. These are a little bit modern looking, but it's the only one that had fit properly. Even then it wasn't quite perfect. The reason I've got this is because this is ballast going around here, and the reason I've got the ballast is because it gives you a bit of room, but these wall pieces connect up to it, so it makes them nice and easy for placing. You just got to sort of line them up as best you can. Sometimes they don't always line up perfectly, you get a bit of oddness like this, but for the most part it looks pretty good, and you're not really going to be getting in that close anyway. That's just me being a bit picky about the details. I've not finished this end off yet. I've put these over here, but putting the bits in to join these up and make them look right, there's a lot of messing about, a lot of changing sizes and things. So I've just put a bit of wood and hoarding in there for now. This little sentry box with a guy outside it. I've got this little sort of station box here. It's German. What does it say? BK Wildtranki. Probably said that wrong. I just like that. It looks like a little, got a little signal box there. So yeah, we've got a bit of a building area going on. Some cranes, an excavator moving the rocks around. So I've got some animation in there. These cranes move around as well. I think that looks quite good now. Once all the houses build up around it and everything, it's just a bit of an inner city goods sort of yard. I'm going to do a much bigger one here, and I'm going to show you how I use the walls and pieces when I do that one. I'll try not to build too much off camera. It's just like I said, the reason went forward quite a bit is because I was spacing the trains out. And every time I came past this bit, I just kept looking at it and thinking, I've got to do something. So I did. I've also done something over in the village. And like I said, the mod gives you all these assets, so I've now got every little bits and pieces that you can have. The only problem is it messed my church up. So I had to go and I swapped it for another church, and then I took the church's mod out and added it again to see if it'd reskin it. The problem with it is the one that's in the game, this one, if you look at the colour, it's not actually available in the game, but it's from one of the missions, and the colour of it it's awful. It's got this brick roof, these white walls, this dark red clock, and then this green around it it doesn't even match up with anything that's in the game. It just doesn't look right at all. It looks like something more off a crazy golf course, I like the reskinned version, but when I put it's like with the lighthouse as well. The lighthouse is now black instead of blue. I don't mind that. In fact, I actually prefer that. But the church was hideous. So I took it out and replaced it, but then since then, I thought I'd have a little try and just see if I can reorder the mods a little bit, and it worked. And sometimes the order in which you've got the mods in affects whether they work or not, or affects what they change. So the other thing I've built is over here. I thought, seeing as we've got a village and a farming community, we should have a little farmers market. Yay! We've got some livestock for sale, we've got little market stalls here, there's people wandering around and stuff. We've got some people selling stuff, and women here selling some fruit and veg and things. We've got a guy here who makes kennels. Somebody selling some garden furniture. Want to buy a table? Need a chair to sit down? We've got people working as well and everything. Now, I can't have the open wagons as assets. I have to have these covered wagons. And whoever did the mod, I don't know if you can see this, these are actually off the shop fronts. I've put them over the side of the wagon because from a certain angle you can just about see the logo. It's got the Arriva bus logo on the side of it. Why? I don't know why he's put that on, and I can't seem to get rid of it. And from a certain angle you can still see it, even though these aren't right up against the side. So I'm going to have to fiddle around with these a little bit more, because I don't know why the Arriva bus certainly wouldn't have been around I don't think Arriva was around in 1855. It certainly weren't in England. So yeah, little farmers market there. I'm going to do some bigger markets. This was just testing out to see how it worked. There isn't market stalls in the game. What these are the canopies off the shops. These. And they come in two pieces. You get the top piece and you get the side pieces, or three pieces or whatever. So I've joined them up back to back. We've got the blue one over here. And there's some red ones up here. Over there and that. So yeah, you can alter the sizes and shapes of them and things. The problem, they don't actually have any legs, and there isn't any legs for them. There's no pieces of wood you can stick up in the corners. So what I've had to do, these posts are actually lamp posts, and I've sunk them. You can have a -1 on the height, which drops them down below the height of the market stalls. You can just about see the tip of one or two sticking through, but for the most of them I got them covered up. You can maybe still see the lamp head through that little gap there, just not quite lined up. Again, when I do one of the other markets, I'm going to put some markets in the cities as well. Maybe have sort of all one colour and have them all the same size or something. I was just really sort of experimenting because I've not seen this done anywhere else, and having a market, it was something I wanted. You know, there's loads of things I want that are not available. But yeah, so I'll have a look down at the lighthouse. Sorry about flying around a bit here. Yeah, so now that's black and white. Well, I quite like that. I wouldn't mind a choice. Have the red and white, the black and white, and the blue and white. That'd be even better, because then I could have a few of them in without them all looking the same. I put a little jetty in here. Boats. I'd love some boats. You know, a little rowing boat or something. Maybe some fishing boats. Fishing boats would be awesome. I could build some docks and some fish. You know, like a little fishing community or something. That'd be ace. Some old fishing boats. Anybody who makes mods? I would like to learn how to make my own mods, but it's 3D rendering and all that kind of stuff. I've never done it before, so it's a big learning curve for me. But I only started using mods really for the first time a few months back. Never really gone into this kind of level of detail with computer games or anything before. I've played games like Banished and stuff like that where you can, there's mods, but this is a lot more fiddling and a lot more sort of trying things out and experimenting, because if you just stick them all in together, half of it doesn't work. You end up with problems. You end up with all sorts of problems. Something I've been meaning to tell you about, but I've got this fence mod. It's called BLS Fences. When I first got this, I thought, oh, this is wonderful. It's just great stuff. This gives you can put straight fences wherever you want, And it's even got hedgerows and things, and there's different types of fences, tree rows. I thought that'd be great for lining the farms. What I didn't realise, was when I first tried it, because of the way I'd built it, construction not possible. Can't build through that, can you? Well, actually, yes, you can, as the AI decided to show me. Not only can you build through it, I realised it's in the road section. It's actually a road. It's a path, and it treats it as a path. And if you put these in around your cities, people will use them as paths. And if there's enough room, the AI will expand it. Will update it to a different type of road, so it doesn't work properly. However, I do still use it. I used it around my church. If you do use it, or you do want to use it, my advice is this: you build as close as possible to a road edge. You get blockers in absolutely everywhere, and you try and block the ends off, they may still get the odd person walking along here, but the AI can't take this road through it. It can't join up to it. So if you're right up along the edge of the road and you've got blockers in any possible gaps that you can, and right up against the back of it as well, then you're all right. It doesn't upgrade it, and it doesn't cause you a problem. That's how I used it on the last map. Well, I started another map before this one, and I got quite a good way into the first episode, and then started realising I was having all sorts of problems, including these upgrading to roads, which I hadn't done before. All sorts got messed up, but it was because I started with all the mods in. So that's why I'm just adding a few at a time again, because then when something happens or something breaks, like the church broke, I can identify what caused the problem and then see about fixing it. Sometimes it's just a simple case of taking the mod out and adding it back in again later on. Other times you add stuff and it makes a mess of things, and then you go and get rid of that mod. Like I say, I've got the test maps just in case anything I do put in causes a catastrophic break that we can't recover from. But I think we're all right, because most of them I've used quite a bit before anyway. There's a few new ones that I haven't used before, only because I've been wanting to go into a bit more detail, and I've got some ideas for things. I like these little bridges. I'll show you how I do these as well. Just takes a little bit of fiddling. You sort of build the road in, make a dip, build the bridge, delete the road, put the road back in, level it out, flatten it out, and it's quite easy and quite effective. You know, I know plenty of places that have got loads of little bridges like this with the train lines raised up a bit. So what we're going to do then? Right, I think that's everything I needed to tell you about. I've not done anything else, have I? No. Oh, I did stick a load more trucks on this because the food was backing up here. There was 200 and odd waiting. I only realised when the farm stopped producing and this stopped producing. I had to go looking for where it was backing up, and it was up there, so I stuck a load more trucks on it. I've probably got too many on there now, but it's quite a bit of a trek from the truck stop to the town. So as we upgrade them, we'll get a bit faster vehicles. I'll take a few off again, but I just want to keep the goods moving, because there are 6 trains on here as well, so we're going to be bringing quite a fair amount of goods in. Yeah, I've not done any of this yet. I think we're going to build this castle. I do want to get on with the industrial stuff, but I want to get this done, and I want to get this forest in, and I want to get the dockyard in here, and get this route going up here, maybe up and around that way somewhere. So I want to get this built as well, this park. Then it's a case of getting the industry in and getting the industry lines up and running. Now we're starting to see a bit of expansion. I don't want to be deleting any more stuff. We're getting up on the numbers list. Barton's back up to 110. That's growing. Hambley's doing quite well. Wensbury's doing the best at 184 now. So yeah, it's growing quite a bit. Yeah, I think we're gonna go do a speed build. Tell you what, I'm going to have a think about it for 5 minutes, and then I'll go position the camera and make a start on it. And I shall see you on the other side. Enjoy. Okay, so a golf course is born. Brunswick has its own little golf course now. I thought it'd fill up a nice big area, look quite good, and didn't take massive amounts of work. Um, there's blockers in there everywhere. I've got that was probably the most time consuming bit, is putting all the blockers in. There's absolutely loads of them all around the paths and everything, in the gaps around the course. I just wanted to make sure that the AI doesn't wreck it, and no doubt I've probably missed a few gaps, so I may find the odd house or factory or something popping up here and there. If I do, I'll just delete them and I can fill in the gaps there. So what did we do? Well, this was the base texture that was already there. I've raised the ground up a bit here. I've got a ground leveler. I'll show you how to use it a little later. It's really handy. It does, as you saw with the castle, you can level quite a bit out and makes life a lot easier. Now, okay, this is a bit of a high tee-off point, but I wanted them to be visible from the air. I did them a bit lower and you couldn't really see them, so I thought I'd do them a little bit higher. We've got a bit of texture in here. This is supposed to be a meadow. It doesn't really look like a meadow, but I use it for just sort of breaking up the edges a bit. Got a bit of sand in. I sunk the holes in using the ground lowering tool, stuck a few rocks in and around the place. This is a field from the Farmer mod, number 6, I think. No, number 5. Number 5, yeah. And this flag is off the castle. It's part of the castle mod. There wasn't any little white triangular flag, so I've just used the same one that's on the castle. I've not finished this yet. There's quite a bit of work to do on this yet. I just wanted to get it in more than anything. I am going to turn these castles into sort of tourist locations later on. I've got some idea for some decorations and things, and sort of start driving people up here and get some people in and around the places. I'm not going to do it just yet though. I want to get on with the industrial stuff before I even think about start doing the tourism. Once the industry's all in place, then I think after that we'll start working on the beaches and the tourist area, but I want to leave that till sort of the early 1900s. I want to get this and this area done next. I'm possibly thinking of putting a bigger golf course up around Lakeside. This one's only a 9-hole. I thought 18 would have been a bit, it would have been too big, because I would have ended up coming all the way sort of around here as well, and I didn't want one that big in that area. I thought I'll give this town some room to grow out this way and possibly over the other side of these tracks. I haven't decided yet. I might just block it in and force it down that direction. But I think Lakeside is a candidate for an 18-hole, which could come all the way around, fill all this in, finish the farms off up here and leave plenty of room for the town to grow. This farm's going to get finished off, although I may delete these fields, and I might allow Lakeside to start. I've been thinking maybe allow it to start pushing down this way. If we build the farms up on this side, so we've got a bit of farming community and everything, and then have more modern higher-rise buildings down towards the shoreline. I haven't decided on that yet. I want to work on these next. I want to park in here. I was thinking maybe a golf course around here, but I'm too close to this one. I think one on either corner of the map will be good. I mean, could just go and stick these in everywhere. Every town could have a golf course, and it'd certainly block off a good chunk of the map. It's just that it'll all be a bit too samey. I don't want it all looking the same. So if you're wondering what the path is, this is hole 1 down here next to the hotel. It wasn't a hotel. I've stuck that sign on the front of it. It looks like a hotel. We've got some benches and stuff out here. I might open this up and put a terrace in here. So yeah, this is hole 1. Nice little par 3, par 4 to start you off with. finish up here. You go on to hole 2 here. Nice long par 5 taking you up to the castle. Finish there, go on to hole 3. Another long one with a bit of a dog leg, I think they call it. Some bunkers in here. Hole 4, little short par 3 for a hole 5. A nice long par 5 for a hole 6. Hole 7 coming down this way. And over to here for hole 8, and then back here, hole 9, back to the clubhouse hotel. Or go and do it all again if you want to do the 18 holes. I've got some people in and around here. I've stuck some people. There's some on the golf courses. There's some on the tee off points. There's a fella there on the green. But yeah, I haven't got any golf clubs or anything I could use. Yeah, you won't really be able to see it anyway, even if they had a ball or something, it'd be tiny. I think it's quite effective. I quite like that. And I've done the log farm while I've been at it. I'm not going overboard with the scenery here. I just wanted to make a bit of a deforestation area. I've chucked a load of these stumps in, a few chopped down tree bits, and stuck a few bushes in here and there. A load of logs over here piled up. So the goods are going to come in here. I'm going to truck it out from here into the town centre. It's going to pick up the logs and take them back to the big dock over in Barton, which isn't built yet. So yeah, quite happy with that. I've probably said that about 3 or 4 times now. I think we'll, I've already said this a couple of times as well. We're going to make a start on this next episode. I'm gonna crack on with that pretty soon. I want to get this industry going. I've been having to think about it, and I need the oil refinery up here, and probably plastic, construction materials. I don't know whether to turn the logs into planks before they get here. I could have them stopping maybe in Barton or maybe on the way, or just have the lumber mill in with the industrial area. I think I probably will. I'll probably do that. So yes. Okay, I'll call that a day for now. Hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll join you very soon for another episode. Thank you very much. You've been watching Off the Rails.